In this lesson, you will learn the following. This lesson is based on the following business scenario. What is consumption-based planning? This planning tool is not based on what you know, like an order in the master production schedule, but can be inferred from past usage of a material. Consumption-based planning, CBP, is planning that is based on past consumption of a material to predict its future demand. This is determined from calculations through a forecast or defined reorder points. This is different from planning that is based on a master production schedule that creates dependent or independent requirements. Lead time is the true time in days to either purchase or manufacture parts. In order to shorten the total lead time for a product, companies buy components and/or materials and build subassemblies prior to receiving an order. When do you use consumption-based planning? When you have accurate inventory levels and practices, and the demand for the material is largely independent and consistent. A completely random and wildly fluctuating demand does not lend itself to being forecast. There are several major tasks involved in consumption-based planning. Because forecasts use past consumption to predict future demand, the past consumption data on which to base the forecast must be present in SAP. This means if you are a new SAP customer and you want to use forecasts, you must load data from the past. Consumption data in the Material Master may show a material with monthly entries. You can change the indicator to a different value, such as daily or weekly, by changing the indicator in the Forecasting tab of the Material Master. Material Master data also included total consumption and unplanned consumption. SAP updates the values seen in the Material Master consumption screen based on material movements. You can create a forecasting view in the Material Master. The forecast view contains the forecast model and forecast parameters. The forecast parameters are the field entries in the Material Master forecast view. Forecast models are used in the forecast run program along with the forecast parameters to determine the demand. You need to choose the forecast model for the demand distribution, which looks most like your past consumption. There are a number of forecast models available. There are also material resource planning, MRP views, and master data. The most important field is the MRP type in the MRP1 view. The MRP type controls how the material is planned. There are 3 types of consumption-based planning: forecast, reorder point, and time-phased. Forecast planning is for independent, high-volume demand materials. Too low a volume would not give enough data on which to base the forecast. When the demands for a material are independent and low volume, then reorder point planning could be appropriate. In reorder point planning, when the stock plus firmed receipts fall below a chosen point, the reorder point, the system will generate a procurement proposal. Just like in forecast planning, you can manually or automatically update the control parameters for reorder point planning in the Material Master. The following chart shows the reorder point formula. The reorder point is calculated as the material demand during the replenishment lead time. This, of course, is determined using the forecast. Time-phased planning is appropriate when the supply is always at a set time. If the supply date is known in advance, it only makes sense to plan accordingly. The forecast can be a scheduled job that runs periodically and also be run manually only when there is a need. You can create a forecast in the following ways. Consumption-based planning uses historical data to calculate future requirements. There are many different methods in which to use forecasts to create procurement proposals. Careful consideration must be given to what planning type is used and the parameters used in a given planning type. Well done! You have just learned how to describe the basic concepts of consumption-based planning and its benefits and uses.